So myself Shalini, today's topic is two-dimensional arrays. Let's see how this two-dimensional arrays will work. 1D array, we have already seen about 1D array. Now let's see about the 2D array, right? So 1D 1D variable stores a list of values only, but there could be a situation where a table of values has to be stored which need 2D arrays. For examples, periodic table, sales information of a company, data in spreadsheets, etc. The two-dimensional array in C programming is known as matrix. A matrix can be represented as a table of rows and columns. A particular value in a matrix can be accessed by using two subscripts such as V of ij. Here, V denotes the entire matrix and V of ij refers to the value in the ith row and jth column. An array of arrays is known as a 2D array. We are having another definition for this two-dimensional array. So an array of array is known as a 2D array. Okay, so type array name, row size and column size. 2D arrays are stored in memory as shown below. So here we are having two rows, row 0 and row 1, and it would be indicated in the form of a matrix. So 0 0. So 0 indicates that it is your first row and the other 0 indicates that it is your first column. Then 0 1, first row, second column, then first row, third column. So here we are having two rows and three columns, so it would be represented like this. Then for the next representation 1 0, it denotes that it is your first row and first column, the first row and second column, the second row and first column, the second row and the second column, the second row and third column. So the representation of this matrix elements are shown here. All right, is it clear? Then now see what are the initialization of these 2D arrays. Like the 1D array, 2D arrays can be initialized by following either declaration with a list of initial values enclosed in braces. For example, int table of 2 3 is equals to 0 0 0 1 1 1. Here we are having two rows and three columns. So total number of elements should be stored in an array is nothing but 6 elements. So you can directly give the values to an array like this, same like a 1D array. Initializing the elements of the first row to 0 and the second row to 1. The initialization is initialize the elements of the first row to 0 and the second row to 1. The initialization is done row by row here. Then the above statement is equivalently written as int table of 2 3 is equals to, you need to take the first row elements in first brace 0 0 0 and second row elements in second brace 1 1 1. You can also give the elements like this. It clearly denotes that the first brace indicates your first row, the second brace indicates your second row. By surrounding the elements of each row by braces, you can also represent like that. We can also initialize a two-dimensional array in the form of a matrix as shown below. We can also generally define the two-dimensional array in the form of a matrix. Int table of 2 3 is equals to 0 0 0 1 1 1. You can also represent the elements in the form of a matrix. So it clearly shows you that the first three elements are your first row elements and the second three elements are the second row elements. And you need to give semicolon at the end by representing like this. When the array is completely initialized with all values explicitly, we need not specify the size of the first dimension. It is very, very important. When the array is completely initialized with all the values, no need to specify the size of first dimension, that is, the below statement is permanent. Here we are not giving the row size, we are just giving the column size. It clearly shows that you are having two rows and three columns. 3 indicates that it is your column size, and you are not giving the row size here. It represents that you are having two rows because you have initialized all the elements completely. So you can skip the dimension of the row size here. This is also one of the way of initializing the two-dimensional array. If the values are missing in an initialization, then they are automatically set to zeros. For example, the same example, int table of 2 3 is equals to 1 comma 1 comma 2. Here you have taken your row size as 2 and column size as 3, but you have not completely initialized the values. See, for the first row you have only initialized two values, and the second row you have only initialized one values. Then the remaining values will be set to zeros automatically. This is another way of initializing your 2D array. See, will initialize the first two elements of the first row to 1, the first element of the first row to 2, and the other elements to zeros. When all the elements are to be initialized to zeros, the following shortcut method may be used. For suppose you have taken the size as 3 and 5, that is nothing but 3 is nothing but your row size, 5 is nothing but your column size, but you are only initializing 0 0 0. It indicates that you are having 3 rows, but all your 5 elements in the column are not initialized. So you can also give like this. Then the compiler will automatically set the remaining values to 0. The first element of each row is explicitly initialized to 0, while other elements are automatically initialized to zeros, because here you have taken the initialization like that. If you want to take all the elements as zeros, then you can use this shortcut method for initializing your values. Then see what are multidimensional arrays. C allows array of 3 or more dimensions. The exact limit is determined by the compiler. That is nothing but syntax. Type array name S1, S2 and S3, so on Sm, where Si is the size of the ith dimension. Example, int A of 3, 3 and 3, int B of 5, 4, 5, 3. Here you are having more than two subscripts. Okay, if you are having more than one subscript, then it indicates that it is your one-dimensional array. If you are having more than, if you are having two subscripts, then it is nothing but a two-dimensional array. But here in this example, you are having more than two subscripts. So for the first one, you are having more than two, that is 3, and for the second one, you are having more than what? You are having more than 2 here also. You're having four subscripts. So it clearly shows you that a 3D array is essentially an array of arrays. Okay, an array of arrays of arrays. It's an array or collection of 2D arrays. So clearly it is giving you the definition as a 3D array is essentially an array of arrays of arrays. So it's an array of collection of so it's an array or collection of what? A 2D arrays. And a 2D array is an array of what? 1D array. And a 2D array is an array of 1D array, initializing 3D arrays. So how the initialization will be done? Int array of 3 3 3. Here you are having 3 rows, 3 columns, and the other one is nothing but this is nothing but the multi-dimensional array example. So here we are having what? The first one will be mentioned as 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19 are your first row elements. Okay. Then the next one is nothing but the next elements 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 and 29, and the last subscript elements are 31, 32, 33, 34, 35 and 36. So it is clearly showing you uh, the initialization of this multidimensional array. So multidimensional arrays can also be represented in the form of a matrix. So here you need to separate it with what? With the comma, right? So the first elements are separated with comma, the second elements are again separated with comma, and the third elements are separated with comma. Here is an example for a 2D array, that is nothing but program to add two matrices. So I will be discussing this program later. Let's try it yourself how to write a program to add two matrices. Then try to do it yourself now. Write programs for the following: C program to find sum of all the elements of each row of a matrix, C program to find the transpose of a matrix, and a C program to read a matrix and print its diagonals. So try it by yourself. Okay, thank you.